The second building block is the value propositions. So, quick definition. Value proposition building block describe the bundle of products and services that create value for a specific customer segment. Okay, so what kind of value proposition we could have? Now, the first one is newness. So you have something new, people get attracted by it. For example, when Apple released their first iPad, everybody rushed to the Apple store to buy iPad. I mean, everybody, the early adopters. But they were crazy because, oh, that's new, that looks cool. Boom, everybody goes there. Newness. Performance. This is the case of computer in the past. You know, you wanted to have the faster CPU, the faster, the biggest amount of RAM, the biggest amount of ROM, graphic card. It was really important to have a computer is really full of specs because you knew that your computer will be out in 6 months. You know, like in 6 months, a lot of apps won't be able to work on your computer. Nowadays, if you think about it, it's not really the case anymore. A lot of cheap computers do the job. You can keep computer for 2-3 years and you run most of the application. Not if you are a graphic designer, video producer, or gamer, but if you have a normal use of your computer, you don't need to change all the time, right? But it used to be the business model. Customization. You can customize, get your product exactly the way you want it. Price. You try to offer the cheapest price on the market. This is extremely dangerous, okay? Because if you have another competitor that also works on price, you will end up in what we call a price competition and a race to the bottom. So you will always go down, he will go down, you will go down, eventually you earn them nothing. So not really advised. An example of that is Ryanair. Back in Europe, you know, you have this airline company that offers low-cost flight to people around Europe, basically. And then I remember, for example, I was flying from Belgium to Spain for 50 euros, which is insanely cheap. Well, now don't expect too much from the plane because they are working on price, not on service and quality and so on, but it was pretty cheap actually. Then other type of value proposition will be getting the job done. So you have some company that specialize in getting the job done. No, so for example, I'm working with an accountant, so I'm paying her every month, basically. I mean, not every month, every year. I pay her to get my accounting done, my auditing, all my tax filled, etc. I just hate admin, and I love the fact that she is doing everything for me, you know. So I'm so happy. I just pay, hey, done, you know. So getting the job done. Then is the design. The first time I bought a Mac, my first Mac, I didn't buy it for any of the functionality or whatever. I was a trainer back in Belgium and I wanted to look cool and innovative and so on. And back then, really few people had Macs. So I wanted to open my Mac and they can see, my participant can see my little Apple shining and hey, wow, he's good. This guy look good, you know. So that's why I bought it, for the design, almost purely. Then brand and status. Well, I live in Hong Kong and you have guys here, right, having some cars, driving cars like Ferrari, Porsche, Maserati, Bentley, etc. But the point is this, in Hong Kong you can't drive faster than 80 kilometers per hour. So basically it's completely useless car, it's not even comfortable to drive, but it gives them a lot of brand of status, and Chinese people really love status, I can tell you. That's what they call face. Cost reduction. You know, you come to your client and say, look, you know what, you pay me nothing. I give you a few advice and I help you to save cost. If you save cost, we share half-half. It's an example, you know. But basically, you get paid only to save money to your clients. Risk reduction. This is completely the principle of insurances. So insurances will just tell you, hey, you know, you have this and this risk. They will scare you to death. Say, hey, what if this happen? What if this happen? You know what? You pay me a little bit every month or every year. And basically, if this happened to you, you will be all covered. So risk reduction. Accessibility. So this is when you will give access to certain market or certain type of customer a certain good. So for example, I'm using here Chinese phone called Zoppo. Maybe I should do a review one day on this channel. It's a Chinese phone. This phone costs, I think I bought that 2,000 Hong Kong dollars. So I don't know, it's around 250 US, something like that. Well, I could buy an iPhone, it's not a problem, but I just thought, oh, I want a big screen, you know, and I didn't like Samsung. I thought, well, to have an Android, you know, why to go with Samsung? I can simply go to China, and I just bought that one, use it for a year, it works perfect. But that's my case. But no, this kind of phone, so I didn't buy it for accessibility as I could afford an iPhone. But if you have a phone like that, you could actually go to some, let's say, Eastern European market where, you know, the salary a bit lower than Western Europe or US or something. Or some Indian market. I know there is a lot of Chinese manufacturer developing smaller, cheaper phones for in Indian market. The price is around 50 to 100 US dollar. So this is purely giving access to a technology to people that wouldn't buy it otherwise. Okay. Another thing will be convenience and another thing with accessibility. Yeah. 3D printers, the same idea. You see a lot of cheap 3D printers appearing nowadays. In the past, having a 3D printer was like crazily expensive, but now more and more people come with this technology at a better price, giving access to another part of the consumer market. Then convenience usability. This is the model of 7-Eleven. You know, no matter where you go in Hong Kong, you know, 5 minutes, bam, you get a 7-Eleven or a Circle K. Convenience. Okay, so back to the example, what will happen there? Well, in my case, the value proposition is that I want to help a French company to get their Hong Kong company incorporated without having to worry. You have to imagine those guys, they live thousands of miles from here. They are scared to death, you know, to go and send a couple of thousands of Hong Kong dollars through a bank account they don't know. You know, they don't know what's happening there. They never come to Hong Kong maybe, and they want to open a company there. So what I'm doing is I say, hey, you know what? With me, don't worry. I do everything for you. I do it in French. So basically, you know, you don't have to trust somebody that speaks a weird language that you don't like to speak near. You can speak with me in your own language. And I included it's all in, so there's no hidden fee, so they don't feel cheated all the time. You have a lot of guys out there that will give you a basic price, and then after, you know, you have a couple of features that you have to pay extra, and eventually the initial price become triple at the end. So what I want to do is like, hey, it's worry free. I get the job done for you in French, all in. So that's the first idea. And then why they will want to open a company in Hong Kong? It's because it's easy to make business in Hong Kong, the tax are low, and there is an access to China either for sourcing or for sending your stuff. This is the whole idea. So that's my value proposition to this customer segment, the French entrepreneurs.